Yeah, I think it's the uncertainty of what AI will do for businesses. And we have seen it recently in our industry where we had heard over the last couple of weeks, AI has taken over about 500 jobs in a competitor of ours.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MindShift Show. And today we have an extraordinary guest. He's been out in corporate America helping people be even more successful, and looking forward to seeing what insights he's bringing into this conversation, talking about the workplace, talking about leadership, how people may be feeling right now, giving us some amazing insights. David, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Thank you so much. Now, you and I were talking offline, talking about the things that are going on in this world. But first, give us a quick background. Who are you, and what is it that you dedicate your time to?
So I've been in HR for almost 2 decades. I've seen a lot and have been involved in a wide variety of industries, company size, anywhere from the healthcare, 10,000 employee groups to the startup small business. I'm a small business owner myself with my wife. So I really understand the importance of good people in your team and surrounding yourself with individuals that can help you be better in your job, to help mentor you, to help challenge you, and what technology does with all of that. So I've really taken that into a role that I have now with a payroll technology company to really somewhat consult with businesses and what matters to them. What they're trying to focus on is technology changes and the evolution of AI and how people are utilizing it within their organization. I do a lot of recruiting, business development. I have a podcast of my own called Speakeasy HR. So every day I feel like I'm in conversations that I learn from.
Wow, that sounds amazing, especially getting the lay of the land, right? Talking about like the entrepreneurship part of it, being inside of corporate America. Now, what are some of the conversations that are happening all over the world that you're listening to that people are most concerned about? Let's
I
talk
th-
about the elephant in the room. Let's go there.
yeah, I think it's the uncertainty of what AI will do for businesses. And we have seen it recently in our industry where we had heard over the last couple of weeks, AI has taken over about 500 jobs in a competitor of ours. And so we see the value in AI, but we as a smaller business, we are not trying to eliminate our staff. We're growing 20% with real people and servicing clients to what they need, because our businesses that we work with, they range in size. They have pain points different from the other. So we really are trying to align our business clients with the right customized technology, the right system in place for them. And at the end of the day, they want to pay their employees the right way, accurately, because you're trying to maintain the trust of your team. And if anybody out there listening has thought about why they left a job, a lot of it might be around their management style they were around, the trust level they have with the organization, stability, growth. So when I talk to people, a lot of them are looking for jobs because they don't have future opportunities to grow in their organizations.
Wow, that is huge when you think about how we spend most of our time as human beings. We're at work a third of the time, we're connecting, we're building. And if we don't have those opportunities to grow and expand, and even the trust, okay, let's just put it out there, the trust of our leadership and the people that we work with, that is going to have a ripple effect of an impact, not only in my job, also throughout the entire organization.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And so we see it all. When we work with a business, we know we are only providing them with the technology to be efficient or more efficient and streamline what they're doing. They, at the end of the day, have to hire the people and develop the people and their management and leadership styles and culture. So we play a role in the trust level of their staff because of them obviously working to get paid, most of them, and having benefits. So it needs to be accurate. Taxes are important. And so we understand that, and we try to find the right partnerships, to really accomplish that.
Wow. And that's so important. Tell me, what is one of the biggest things that a leader can do to help their team members out to bring in back that confidence? Because we're hearing all over the place how people are being downsized, people are not being honored, that sometimes even that leadership may be the reason why they leave. But really, what can a leader do?
I think you have to listen to your team. You have to listen and then act and really identify what the pain points are for their staff, where they're overwhelmed, how they can eliminate the burnout with their organization and their staff. And so if you can identify that as a leader in business, really understanding the organization's landscape, the workforce, the employee experience, and how that is in this current state, and really trying to empower the people around you in the managerial role, because that a lot of people leave jobs because of their boss, not because of the company and the brand, the opportunity. It's the people that are managing them. And I've left a job because of how I was managed. I will be honest and say that. It's not always why I left companies, but leaders really have to know their team and have a good pulse on it.
That's so important when we think about that. How do we connect with an individual as a leader, especially when, as you mentioned, what are some of the stats, right? 89% of people they leave their job because of their leader, not because of other reasons. And when we look at also on the other side, from a leadership perspective, that 92% of leaders may be going into a job that they don't even know what they're doing, right? And it's one thing to get training for those who do have the privilege to get training. The other thing is to be able to implement it as we continue to move forward. What are those opportunities? Do we find them? Do we create them? Do we wait for us to be part of that? It's all over the place, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the one thing that I think a lot of businesses want to do the right thing in their training development focus. It's how do they implement it and how do they make sure that it sticks, so that between the time they have training, workshops, opportunities to learn, how are you doing that on a daily basis? And that's the hard, big question to leadership and training is how can you make something stick so that it makes an impact on your managers?
And it's so true. And how do you meet people where they're at? Because we come from a diversity of thought as individuals. Whether it's through education, just perspectives, culture, life in general, that we bring all these amazing things. And it's so important for us to be very well-rounded leaders. I was going to say, if you have the mic, which you do, what would you say to employees and what would you say to leaders? Start with the employees.
With employees on what particular?
In particular, as it relates to them with their own leadership, how do you find opportunities to create a name for yourself or continue to hone in on your skills?
Yeah, I always tell people you should be asking that in the interview process. So as you're going through the
Makes a lot of
interview,
sense.
you need to understand the company, the culture, the managers, and ask, what's the management style like with the manager that I will be working with? And if a lot of people need someone to empower them, to challenge them, to be somewhat of their mentor, you want to find that opportunity. If you're already in a company that you may not have that, I think you really need to do some soul searching and figure out if where you are right now, if that's available to you. It depends on where where you're at in your life. If you're in your early phase of a career or the middle phase of your career too. So people coming into the workforce now, post COVID, pandemic, AI, and how the world is going to be in the next 5 to 10 years, there's a lot that's going to change too. So having teenagers of my own, it's kind of like when they're going to be in the workforce in 10 years, I want them to find something that they're truly passionate to try to find as a career and find a way to enjoy their work so that they're not, moving jobs every 2 years. I think that's the norm. Every, stat's a little different, but I think a lot of people, their tenure with a company is around a little over 2 years, right? And I do see that potentially going up in the future, so on the employee level, if you're not happy in your job, you're not engaged in your job, you're not motivated, do you see that changing in your current role? And if not, then maybe you should consider looking and starting to branch out into your network and really figure out if you want to stay in the same career that you're in. People in HR are burned out. I talk about it and I hear about it, and people might want to leave HR. They might want to go to operations or sales or management. So it is a really interesting time to be in the workforce and studying it the way that we are.
Well, that's what's so powerful. One thing is to have insights. The other thing is to have the foresight. And I love the fact of coupling those two together and taking a look, having those conversations in your interview process. Yeah. Let's not there be a surprise on what we're doing. Let's just flat out have that conversation in the beginning to say, hey, how is this working out? Is this what I want to do? Does this feel right for me as an individual? Am I going into an organization that allows that? Is my leadership, am I interviewing my leadership in the way that is going to help me advance my career? I've been in many organizations where individuals, as I come in as a leadership consultant, and there's nowhere for them to grow. And that's where they started. It's not like they went into the organization with opportunity to grow. There wasn't any opportunity for growth, but really leading that. And then also taking a look at as an individual, are you in HR? Are you in leadership? Where are you at as an employee to be able to move around? Maybe this is still the right company. I'm still there for the mission and the vision, maybe not in this particular way.
Yep, absolutely.
And what would you say for leaders as well? Because we come into these leadership positions sometimes because of our talent and what we have. Maybe we're managing projects and growing projects and so forth, and all of a sudden we're called because of those extraordinary expertise into leadership. What would you say to them?
I think it depends on where they're at in their journey as a company. We're somewhat of a startup feel still, so we're learning, developing our staff. We're training them and giving them the opportunities to get certified in payroll and HR. A lot of companies aren't really doing that. When I tell applicants that I talk to in the interview process, I ask them about their future of being in an industry like ours, and would you want to get certified? And a lot of them are excited. They're like, oh, I never had the chance to get certified. I would love to do that. So I think you really need to identify what phase you are as an organization, where the last 5 years have been, and if you've been growing, downsizing, if you've been through an acquisition, a lot of that's happening too, even in our industry. So I think it depends a lot on that organization's path, where they are, and really what their focus is moving forward, and what are they going to do with the resources around them, the technology, the people, their service and industry, and how can they have the competitive advantage over their competitors. More from a recruiting standpoint, right? So that's so important. I mean, you can recruit all day, but if you feel like you have a great opportunity for people to come in and make a difference in the organization, you need to lean in on that and figure out a way to promote that and create that as part of your brand so that people are aware.
And that's powerful when you take a look at it through that perspective. It's like, how am I going to grow this team? What am I going to do to continue to enhance, move the organization forward, so forth. Right. And tell me, as we're coming to a close, what are the things that you want people to take away from this interview? What are you known for, and what do you want people to be asking?
I think a lot of it comes down to the employee experience and what do they feel like the employee experience is for their organization. It might be completely different. It might be completely different based on two different people in a same role, in a same department, and they might sit right next to each other, and their experience might be different. So how can you make the employee experience better? What does that look like? Who would be involved in making that difference? Because in the next 5 to 10 years, there'll be new jobs created because of AI. There'll be jobs eliminated because of AI. And so people will have to reskill, retrain themselves too. And if businesses aren't doing that proactively, they might lose people that want to go to a company that's going to help them develop those skills. So it's really a time to have a game plan in place and try to come up with a 3 to 5 year strategy around their organization, workforce, employee experience, and what does that look like for them as an organization.
Well, That's powerful to take a look at that. It's interesting because you would have asked me at the beginning of my career, will I be upskilling someday? Of course, we're going to continually learn, but to have such a shift in AI over the last 30 years, everything
Yeah.
was pretty much pretty steady. And then all of a sudden AI comes along and it's, woo, I'm watching a lot of people come in and out of organizations. I've seen up to 5 different jobs in 1 year and
Hmm.
somebody's LinkedIn title. I'm like, wow, weren't you just 2 months ago in some other organization? Wasn't this
Yeah.
like 30 days ago? Like, what happened? Why are we moving from point A to point B? Or is that the best thing to do as opposed to come in, hone in on your skills, get certifications, training, so forth, really to
Yeah.
be even greater value to organizations?
Yep. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Wonderful. David, thank you so much for being here today. I'm really excited for our audience to listen to your interview and
Yeah.
connect with you as well.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely. I really enjoyed it. And for those of you on LinkedIn, look me up, check out Speakeasy HR. It's a weekly live podcast on YouTube and LinkedIn that I do. And it's been a lot of fun and get to connect with people and, share my insights with people like you and your audience. So,
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And to our audience, take 5 minutes to 3 things that will continue to move forward. Is it to schedule a time to connect with David? Is it to check out his website? Is it to watch this interview again? Those are opportunities. We're constantly shifting and even listening to the same information. There's things that are shifting about us in real time that even if we're listening to the same thing, we're going to hear something different because we experience the world through a different lens. So until next time, I look forward to hearing how you're creating your version of a happy, healthy, and wealthy life.